Hey there, wellness entrepreneur. Welcome back. Welcome to 2026. And to start the new year, we're going to have an episode on how to simplify your new year, especially if you feel like you're wearing a ton of hats, you're trying to find balance between all the hats that you're wearing, all the things that you need to do, the overwhelm, and yes, of course, you still want to live your life and do your own wellness practices. So if it's January 3rd and you got your fresh planner open, your color-coded schedule ready, and you've just written down your 2026 business goals. In fact, maybe you attended my strategic planning workshop from last year. You're ready to go, and you have written down, okay, post on Instagram 5 times a week, launch that online program you've been thinking about for years, redesign your website. Again, start on that podcast, build your email list, create a lead magnet, finally get active on LinkedIn, maybe TikTok too. Oh, and see 15, no, maybe 20 clients a week, 6 yoga classes, and actually spend time with your family. Oh, and wait, when do you run? When do you go for your walks? When do you go to your own yoga practice? Then what happens? January 10th comes around and you post it on Instagram twice. You already feel behind. You feel like a failure. And you're wondering if you should just give up this whole business thing and go back to your regular 50-hour work weeks and work for someone else. Here's what no one tells you. You're not failing because of lack of discipline. You're failing because you're trying to do everything all at once. And we really need to do the uncomfortable thing. And I'm telling you this with my full heart because this is so hard for me. It's very edgy, is having priorities, focusing on 3 things at a time. Maybe it's for the year, maybe it's just for a quarter. So, for example, I have a lot of people coming to me and they're saying, I didn't become a physical therapist or a yoga teacher or a massage therapist or a social media manager to become. I hear this so frequently. Allison, I didn't become a physical therapist, a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, or a health coach to become a social media manager, content writer, copywriter, web design, email marketer, just marketer in general, funner builder, and business strategist. I just want to focus on the healing. I just want to focus on helping people. That's why I started my business. I hear you. It's valid. But here's the truth. If you just want to focus on the healing work, if you just want to focus on helping people, then I highly recommend you might consider getting a job, because being an entrepreneur, and I say this with love, means that you do have to do these other things. You do need to promote yourself and learn how to sell. And it's not even promoting yourself, your programs, your services. You need to learn how to sell your services. And the delivery portion that you're speaking of, yes, 100%. You also want to monitor your delivery and track client progress. So every business has marketing, selling, delivery. And if you're a solopreneur, you're going to have to wear hats in all those areas. And that's what makes it really tricky when you're trying to wear all those hats and live your life and not overdo, and you feel learning all these new skills and you feel really overwhelmed. It's understandable. But in this episode, we're going to lean into the discomfort of knowing which hats to prioritize right now in quarter 1 and quarter 2 of this year, so that you can grow faster. It feels counterintuitive, especially if you're like me, like creative, like having all these ideas coming at me at the same time, wanting to be in doing all these things at the same time. It can feel very counterproductive to stay in a lane and to focus. And truthfully, I've really been doing this the last couple of years because the masterminds I have coach overlap where they are highlighting choose your three focuses for right now. And sometimes it's 3 focuses for a round in a mastermind that I'm in. It's 3 focuses for a year. It's 3 focuses until, they're feeling complete and the next focus is there. So what am I talking about? Okay. So in the beginning of last year, my 3 focuses were lead generation, specifically on Instagram, sales consultations, because my consultation was still kind of volatile. Some months I had great months, like 80 to 100%, and some months I'd bomb, like 20 to 30%, and I wanted it a little bit more consistent. And finances, because I had wanted to continue to save more to pay for more of the investments. Like I invested in a practitioner skill coaching program, as you know, invested in several masterminds. I wanted to pay for those in cash and still build my savings for both business and personal and continue to pay down debt, which actually is a lot for finances to handle all at once. It's kind of not too focused, but in my mind, it was focused. I wanted to do it that way. So that was what I was focusing on in the beginning of the year. Then it shifted. My sales calls really improved and Instagram got some momentum. So I stuck with Instagram, but I even dialed down there, focusing on conversion and visibility. I also brought in launching and continued with the finances. This year, for quarter one and quarter two of 2026, I'm focusing on a possible rebrand. Stay tuned for that. It was surprise coaching I got. It was unexpected, but I see it because truthfully, I've never had a major rebrand. When I shifted from being a practitioner with my brick and mortar to practitioner more online to then business coaching, I kind of just morphed. I've never done an official rebranding. It was, as one of my friends said, it was kind of patchworked together. And it was suggested that where I am in my business, it's time for a rebrand. So I'm considering that. And if I do that, it will be the behind the scenes of that will be in quarter one and quarter two, and then probably making public, launching it quarter three or quarter four. It's a process, but I'll take you on the journey and I'll ask for your input. And okay, so that's one focus. Another focus is still the lead generation, but Instagram is really going well. I want to continue with that. I did invest with one coach again I just paid for another whole year. So I will be focusing on that specifically. I am repurposing Instagram to other channels. And I notice when my Instagram improves and conversions improve there and visibility improves there, my other channels that I repurpose to also improve. So it's a lead generation focus with the perspective of launching. So I'm learning as I've been launching more. Last year, I launched all year with my groups. This year, I'm continuing, but it's twofold. So it's a launching with the lead generation and sales perspective, as well as launching with the delivery perspective. Since I'm bringing in a new program, the 100K online practice blueprint, I really want to optimize client delivery and make sure onboarding feels well for the client, onboarding feels sustainable for myself and my VA. I want to watch questions being asked in the group coaching calls. I brought in the manifest and move. So there's some new things happening in that program, and I want to watch client progress and client delivery and continue to optimize that. My one-to-one, I've been delivering the same program now with refinement over time, but now for 5 years, I want to say, with just tweaking and refining. So that's doing pretty well. And the online practice blueprint is based upon the one-to-one work I do. I'm bringing more hiring and VA support, like how to do that, and SOPs and systems with for team into the one-to-one. And online practice blueprint is more for the beginner to online entrepreneurs and or entrepreneurs stuck at like 2 to 4K months and really wanting to hit 10K months. And one-to-one is for those that maybe are stuck at 5 to 6K revenue months, wanting to hit multiple six figures and bring on a team, or already at multiple six figures and need help refining and optimize and work on profit, or bring in an online program. So there's some subtle differences between the two. And of course, helping on a consult for the potential client I'm talking to there on the call to self-identify and tell me as well, like which program they think they're best suited for. So that's my focus for next year. It feels pretty broad. I know what I'm working on and I know what to prioritize my time. So if someone were to ask me, okay, Allison, are you going to launch another program? Or are you going to get out into the community and teach more yoga classes? Or are you going to bring in Airtable, which is actually a system I might bring in either quarter three or four, depending on how those other focuses go. I may do next year, but most likely the year after. There's also another system I might want to upgrade to is my email software system, but I'm not going to be doing that while I'm trying to do a rebrand. So the point is, when you focus or constrain yourself to having these focuses, some things might be sacrificed. So for example, I'm not going to change my email software right now while I'm trying to possibly rebrand and dial in launching. But what I see happening a lot is practitioners wearing so many hats, like the practitioner hat, a marketing hat, a sales hat, tech support hat, content creator hat, bookkeeper hat. And you just feel like you're constantly switching them off and on and not really seeing progress in any of them. And that's the trap. The trap is when we can convince ourselves that we have to have everything perfect before we can make money. We need the perfect website, the perfect Instagram feed, the perfect lead magnet, the perfect email system. And meanwhile, you're burning out and your bank accounts aren't growing and you're wondering why entrepreneurship feels so hard. You don't have to do everything all at the same time. But sometimes deciding what things to focus on now and what things to wait on, that's the growth edge, because it feels really uncomfortable to choose. You often, especially if you're like me, wanting and creative, you often want to do them all. But I'll tell you this, because I've really been focusing on having priorities the last few years, and it really allows you to grow faster. Now, here's the truth. Every business has needs marketing of their services and programs. Every business needs to know how to sell. How do those people convert into the programs and the services? And every business needs delivery of those services and programs. So if you were to look at what is needed for 2026 for you, for your business, I would start there. I would look at your marketing and write down all that you are doing for marketing and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being that it's going really well. For example, you show up on Instagram, you're growing, you're converting people from there. Check, 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 right? Or 1 being like, okay, I show up, but nothing happens. Or 0, you're not there at all. I would rank them. And then selling, right? Do the same thing. How do you sell? Is it consultation conversions? Is it sales pages? Delivery? Are you tracking client progress? When you do track client progress, what is being said? How's actual client support? Does it feel sustainable and systematized for you, meaning you're not actively responding to requests and DMs and staying up late and it's 10 p.m. and now you're frantically texting a client just to help ensure that they feel supported and are achieving progress? Or does it feel like the client delivery to support your clients can be done in a sustainable way? And if you have a team, like I have a VA, does it feel systematized where they can help you support your clients? And I would rank each of those areas. When you do this, you'll often see where your weak link is, where you might need to refine and spend your time. Because a website redesign, it might be a distraction, which is why, actually, truthfully, I haven't officially rebranded in ever. I've never done like a whole branding thing. It just kind of evolved over time. And now I'm in the multiple 6 figures. And yeah, I agree with my coach. If she's, feels that my business can scale to 1 million a year, and we want to have a brand that's clear and people understand who I help and what it is that I do, now is the time. But before that, it's not really needed because you're doing more of a one-to-one versus a one-to-many model. You're not putting a lot of money, paid advertising behind it. Now, where I see this getting complicated away from the marketing, the selling, the delivery, and knowing what to focus in those areas, picking 3 things at a time. And you can also bring your finances in, like I did, like money management in there as well, or team management if you do have a team. So there's some other areas as well that you can pick as your focus or your priority for 2026. But here's where I see it getting complicated is when you add in the yoga classes you're teaching, the collaboration requests, like a friend asking you to do a retreat with you, the unexpected business weak links that come to the focus when you realize, oh, I didn't realize I needed to focus on that, but now I do. Or anything else that hijacks your time and energy, but you haven't put it on the priority list. That's where I see it coming into confusion. Or if you have more than one business or more than one focus. So if you were like me at one point where I had my practitioner brick and mortar business and I was also trying to grow online, or I had my practitioner business and I was also had business coaching, then it gets a little bit more complex because it's hard to keep your eye on the ball on all the things. So you have to look at your business almost like a funnel where you have your lead generation and marketing at the top that can go wide and be a lot of things, but all roads are leading to the program or programs, depending on how big your business is. But usually for most people I work with, it's one main service and or 2 programs at the most, like one-to-one and a group program. But all things funnel to those. And it's looking at where in that chain or that funnel are the weak links that you can help to refine and optimize to get more people into those programs and then deliver a better and exceptional experience so they get results, right? That's how I like to look at it. So sometimes when you are prioritizing, you have your eye on the ball in one area, it doesn't mean that you're not showing up completely to the other areas of focus. It means that they are more systematized, so they can run more on their own, or they feed the funnel, or you have to hire someone to run it for you. So let me give some examples. If you're teaching yoga classes and or retreats, you might decide to say yes or no to some collaborations or yoga classes, depending upon if they are put you in front of the audience that will lead to those programs and services at the end. Meaning if it's a class clear across town and not to your ideal audience, that might be a no. And yes, you're sacrificing some visibility and potentially some revenue, but you're keeping your focus on growing the skill sets that you set to grow this year, or the priorities that you've intended to grow this year, instead of going wide and spreading yourself thin. Or if you have two areas of your business, like I did as I was transitioning, so I knew how to do one-to-one practitioner, like how to support my patients and my clients as a practitioner. So I didn't need to reinvent the wheel there. And I kept my prices the same for my brick and mortar patients and clients for several years, because I had a lot of really great, loyal clients and patients who just kept coming to me and buying package after package because they were seeing results and progress, or they had some chronic conditions where coming to see me regularly helped them to maintain and feel better. And when they didn't come to see me, that's when they would decline. So that side of the business, I knew how to run, where I could shift my focus to learning skills on how to coach. For example, business coaching. What does it look like to sell business coaching? What does it look like to market business coaching? That could be my focus on my other area. But, as many coaches coached me in that transition, is that I had the option. I could choose to even prioritize even more and let go of my brick and mortar clients and patients and focus only on the business coaching, right? Because I was sacrificing, I could have grown the business coaching faster because I was sacrificing some time away from that side of the business. But here's the truth. I was having good revenue come in from my brick and mortar patients and clients, and that created a lot of safety and sufficiency, as well as revenue that I could reinvest back into the business to learn other skills. So I decided to keep that and not grow as quickly in business coaching. So I couldn't get mad at my choice. I had to be okay with growing at the speed I was growing at, because I was making these decisions that way. So when you are choosing your focus and your priorities, that's what makes it hard, is that sometimes there is a cost, or sometimes you don't get to have your cake and eat it too immediately. There is a delayed gratification. But now my business coaching is growing fast. I'm 95% only business coaching these days. And just because I wasn't marketing my practitioner clients and patients, and people moved, people got better, that list has slowly declined, which has opened space for more business coaching. And then the more business coaching people I worked with, the more client testimonials, the better my programs got. So it became a momentum and a fuel. But it took a little bit to get there, because I was balancing two things and making sure that I did end my days between 4 and 5. And, life threw in during those years some crazy circumstances, like cancer diagnosis, brother passing away unexpectedly, and a few other things. So I grew at the pace that was sustainable for me. But here's another mistake. Another option I could have had was hiring someone to do my practitioner work for me to bring in some revenue while I grew the business coaching side of things. But I didn't want to do that, because then that's managing someone and it takes away from the revenue. And it didn't feel like a direction that I wanted to go. But the mistake I see is practitioners only wanting to focus on the healing, for example, and making that the priority at the cost of learning the skills of marketing and selling, or trying to hire someone to do those for them too early, where they're not learning the skills and instead they're paying someone and they're not seeing the results that they desire. Or they have too many facets in their business, like collaborations, retreats, classes, workshops, many different offers, and there's no focus on any of them, and there's no clear funnel. So for 2026, write down right now and tell yourself, at least for quarter 1 and quarter 2, what is your 1 to 3 focuses, and be specific as much as possible. And know that the other areas you can get to over time. They'll improve over time, but you'll actually start to finish things. Your energy will stop feeling scattered. You'll feel less overwhelmed. You will make more money, and you'll get some of your time back. If choosing what to focus on for the whole quarter, this quarter 1, just do it for the next 30 days. Have one focus. Maybe it'll be your marketing season. Your only job is to get visible. Post on Instagram, go to networking events, teach a free workshop, be a podcast guest. You're not trying to sell anything. You're just building trust. Or maybe you do want to sell. You've been showing up visibly for a while and you want to learn how to convert. So then your only job is to have conversations and enroll clients. You can repost old content on social media. You don't need fancy graphics. You can DM people, hop on consultation calls, learn how to connect with people from your classes and your workshops. And then that can give a focus. Or if you feel like your marketing and your selling is kind of going and you have a rhythm there, maybe your focus is on delivery and tracking client results and learning how to get testimonials. You can choose your focus whether you want to do it quarterly, yearly, or monthly. But the point is to choose. And I think sometimes we're afraid to get it wrong, that we're going to make the wrong choice on what to prioritize. But just tell yourself, like, if it is wrong, you can always bring it to coaching and ask and make a pivot and change if needed. Or know that, okay, well, you'll see it through to the end and then you'll go on next quarter and choose a different focus. It's not going to be the end of the world as long as you have your big picture funnel in mind, or you have the willingness to pivot if you're realizing that's not the right direction that your business needs to go right now. And just remember, keep your blinders on, because we all have a business that we came into with different set of skills and different resources, whether that's finances or time or support, mental support and community or not. And we also have a different set of circumstances of what's happening in our personal lives as well. And you can only grow at the speed that you're meant to grow at with those resources and the time you have. And if you stick with it, you will grow. And that's what matters the most. Sometimes we just have to let go of the expectation of the timeline of when we think we should grow. And some of that has to do with, having our business pay the bills. And that puts a lot of pressure on ourselves. But if you can open the mind and consider, okay, well, maybe how else can I make revenue so I can take the pressure off my business and I can learn the skills that I need to develop to be successful, that might take some pressure off too. There's a lot of ways you can go about things, but it's knowing your priority and not forcing your business to perform or you to grow at a speed that's just not realistic right now. It helps to take some of the pressure off. Of course, if you want my eyes on your business to help decide what you should prioritize on, then please just schedule a consult call. I'm here for you. And since you're listening now as well, make sure to get into the Revenue Shift workshop where I'll help you decide what to focus on by showing you the three-step formula to hitting those 10K months. All right, so I'll see you next week in the workshop or on a consult call. Bye for now.
This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR designed for wellness practitioners who value structure, simplicity, and calm growth. If you're a skilled wellness practitioner who's tired of tech overwhelm and administrative chaos, Jane understands. Your expertise should be focused on client transformation, not wrestling with software. Jane provides the structure and systems you need to run a sustainable practice. With Jane's streamlined online booking, your clients can easily schedule at times that work for them. With smart features like waitlist notifications, those last-minute cancellations become opportunities, not losses. It's a simple way to maintain consistent revenue without the constant hustle of filling your calendar. During sessions, Jane's AI-powered documentation helps you capture important notes, efficiently allowing you to stay present and focused on delivering exceptional care. After appointments, you can end on a healing note rather than a transactional one by charging cards on file and handling rebooking before the client leaves, creating the organized, professional experience your business deserves. To discover how Jane can help you build a more structured, scalable wellness practice that works even when you're offline, resting, use the link in the show notes. And especially for you, Ignite Your Wellness Business listeners, when you're ready to implement the simple system that supports your growth, use code IGNITE1MO. So that's IGNITE1MO to get your first month complimentary. That code will also be in the show notes.